Hi everybody, this is Victoria. Welcome back to another new episode of Discovering Art Together. And today we're going to learn and explore a little bit of flower studies. So this is something new, and the key point of today's episode is that we're going to learn why do the colors pop a lot when we take a look at some of the paintings that was inspired from the Golden Dutch Age. They're still life and flower paintings. So we're going to kind of take a look at a specific artist who is called Mary Moser, and she is an English painter, an English artist from the 18th century, and she is one of the most renowned female artists back in those days. And she is also one of the founders of the Royal Academy in London, England, back in the 18th century. And we're gonna take a look at her two paintings of a bunch of flowers and a vase of flowers, and we're gonna see what makes the colors pop, which colors pop the most and takes our attention and attracts our attention, and just kind of see how the colors would work in a floral composition. So if you guys are ready, let's get started. So I came upon another new article by George Bothemaly, and this article is called Mary Moser Flower Studies. So with this new article, I kind of found the fascination of taking a closer look to flower studies, and mostly the ones that are influenced from the Golden Dutch Age. So today we're gonna look at Mary Moser's two paintings. The first one is going to be a bunch of flowers, and then the second one is called a vase of flowers. And we're going to ask ourselves, the question is, what makes the colors pop so much when we take a look at these two paintings and just generally this type of style of flower painting? So if we take a closer look at it, you notice that the only thing that really pops out is majority of the colors of the flower, because the background is all dark. Now with that makes it really easy for the colors to pop, because we have a really strong contrast between the background and the flowers, and there's no competition between the two. So that's one of the main keys of why the flowers look a lot more attractive, and also just being able to simplify the view for the viewers and concentrate on the flower itself, because there's nothing to see in the background. Now, the other question that we're going to ask ourselves is, which colors tends to attract our attention the most? So I did a little exploration and kind of wanted to research a little bit just to see which colors pop more and a little bit of why. So if we take a closer look at the first painting over here of a bunch of flowers, we can kind of see that the red seems to pop the most. So as you can see, the red is the one that probably attracts us the most. We have one at the top right corner, and then we also have some of the red at the center part that's mixed in with a bit of white. So definitely the brighter red pops out the most. As you can see, some of the reds that goes into more of the shadows, we tend to kind of lose it a little bit, and it's not as clear, probably because it's blending into the background because it's all full in shadow, and just not as vibrant anymore. So definitely vibrancy and the lighting also makes a really big difference to whether if the flower is going to pop. The other color, or more specifically the other tone that actually pops out the most, is actually white. So white and black gives a really strong contrast in itself, and since the background is already very dark, it really makes that white pop a lot, because there's less competition with any other tone or color around it, so it really kind of brings out that nice flower that we see there. The other color that we do see that probably pops out the most is yellow and also a bit of orange. So we do see 2 yellow flowers, well technically 3 yellow flowers, because the one on the very top left one has a tint of yellow to it, but it is also white. It's not fully yellow, but the one below it, that's very yellow, so that definitely does attract our attention quite a bit. And then there's a little small one that's right below and in between the 2 roses in the middle. And then we also do have 2 orange flowers at the bottom right side of this painting. So those do also tend to attract our attention a lot. Now let's take a look at the next color that probably does attract our attention is probably the blue. So the blue is the color that attracts us the least because it's colder and it's a lot closer to the dark background. If it were to be a lighter blue, so we do see some of the flowers with a mixture of white, those ones tend to pop out a lot better than the ones that are completely in blue because they tend to blend into the background a lot, so we don't see them as well as we do the other more vibrant colors like red, yellow, and then orange, and also definitely white. Now, do we see any purple flowers? A little bit. Purple will also be one of the colors that attracts us the least, just because it's very, it can be warmer though, but just generally purple tends to blend in, and it's really close to black because it's like a darker and more of a somber red, right? It's like a darker red, so that's why it blends in with the background a lot. And other than that, pink also does pop out quite a bit just because it's a lighter shade of pink. So pink would actually pop out quite a bit because it has the help of the wider side of it in this painting. Like if we were to have like another brighter pink, like an actual pink, I think that would also pop too, because generally pink is a very bright color, so it does attract our attention, and it's also a very close family to the red, except for it's been brightened with a little bit of white to kind of change the color intensity. So that's pretty much for this painting. And then let's take a look at a vase of flowers from Mary Moser. So this painting, same thing. I would say red still attracts us the most because it's very vibrant, very intense and saturated colors, so that always grabs our attention more than anything. And then I would say red and white tends to like to compete with each other. White is a lot more attractive too because of the dark and really high and strong contrast between the black background. So that's one of the things. And then this painting is really interesting because we see the, if you guys kind of see the flowers on the top left corner, that one is a mixture of white, and then we have one that has stripes of red, which also does attract our attention because it's a balance of white and red, which is perfect because those are the 2 most attracting tones and colors that we discovered. And then the other one also works out too because it has a mixture of white and yellow. Now we do have a lot more creamy yellow flowers at the center / bottom area, and some of them at the top too. And we do also see a bit of pink flowers and also a little bit of the blue flowers. So you kind of see the blue really blends in a lot into the background, so it doesn't pop as much. So definitely if you want something that's really attractive, you probably want to look for something that's either super bright, which is the white, or something that's super intense in color and super saturated and very like chromatic, like really high chroma in color, which is the red. Yellow is okay depending on like what kind of yellow we're looking for, but so far the yellows in here aren't super bright. There is like a little orange one there at the bottom, but yeah, so far red and white are our first and also our top picks for the most attractive color and gives us the most attention in a floral composition of flower studies. And then after that, the yellows and the orange would still kind of attract our attention, but not as much as the white and the red. And then definitely the blue would be attracting us the least amount of attention because it kind of blends in into the background a lot more. And definitely we also did notice that warmer colors tend to attract us a lot more just naturally, and colder colors tends to kind of disappear off to the distance, and they're easier to kind of camouflage themselves in a composition of other colors because they're a little bit more mellow, a little bit more low-key, and it kind of a little bit more neutral, I would say. But yeah. Okay, and that is it for today. So I hope you guys love this new episode about flower studies and how do the colors attract our attention in a composition of color and a composition of flowers. So you can actually use the idea, like it doesn't have to be the same subject though. So even though we did look at flower studies, you can use a similar color composition by darkening the background and making super bright or super intense colors so that it attracts our attention and makes the viewers focus on that colored area instead of the background because there's less to see in the background. And yeah, and that's it for today. So here is a fun little exercise for you guys. So feel free to kind of go around and pick some of your favorite flowers, and what we're actually going to do here is that we're going to take a picture of the flower, and then we're going to darken out the background just to see the difference between a flower or the same flower that we see with a dark background and the flower that we see with a lighter background, and just kind of compare the two and see which one does feel more attractive and more focused, while the other one is a little bit more scattered because there's too much stuff to look at and it's kind of spreading and scattering our focus on the flower. So have fun exploring with the colors of these beautiful flowers, and feel free to try and find your own color combination and trying out to add dark backgrounds to it just to see what it feels like and how you could express your own flower composition and bouquets in the next painting that you're going to paint. Okay, and that is it for today. Thank you again so much for watching this brand new video, and I shall see you guys in the next video. So take care, have fun flower painting, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Thank you!